Hello, still doing some AQA ZigZag tasks. In that instance, it's task number 6. Now this one might be one that kind of make the games a bit more interesting. Not making any promises here, but let's do it. Copy and paste and rename to ZZ6 and collapse this, close the previous one. Close my bottom thing and let's have a look at it. All right, so we want to allow the user to move the targets list back to the right, back by 1, towards the right, but at a cost of their score. So offer the user the opportunity to move the targets back to the right. I don't get the phrasing here, right? But it moves them back by 1. Instead of entering an expression, the target list should be moved along to the right by one index, right? And the score should be reduced by 2. The list should maintain its standard length, etc. It doesn't tell you that you're not allowed to kind of go into debt, right? It doesn't tell you that this should fail if the score is 0 or 1, right? If you don't have two points to spare. So, let's do the basic one and then we can do the slightly improved one as it should be. So they're telling us where to do it. It's PlayGame method. We're going to need the move targets back method and then option to enter the expression or to move. There's a lot of scope in here for the choice to be, not this choice, obviously the choice, the user input here, to be a bit more, offer some options. I think, I had an idea for another little improvement. Well, we might make a good game out of this. So if user input, not in RPN, just regular user input, is equal to, let's put in uppercase, just, sake of tolerance. If it's equal to move, remember that this one already happens, right? It happens every turn. So I'm going to leave it here, otherwise I'm going to need to rewrite all of this. So we'll subtract from the score and call this new method they want us to write, which is called move targets back, rather unimaginatively, move targets back. Okay, so we're gonna need to actually set that targets targets becomes equal to move targets back, meaning we need to pass at least targets into it. There's no I don't think I need the training game. I don't need the max target because again the front will be populated with -1s, meaning blank ones. So I don't need to generate a new target, and we use max target just to generate one that's below the maximum. So I'm gonna find where update targets here and put the new method, procedure function. Procedure next to it, subroutine. All right, move targets back. This only takes targets, and so we can do it for, right, okay, the hard way would be this, for count, what's wrong with I don't know, I guess it's not a long camel in, let's do it like they do. So I need to be a bit clever. So I'm going to want to iterate forward over the list. So from your point of view is there. So 0, 1, 2, etc. And except I want to start at 1, right? And I'm going to make 1 the one that it was before. Meaning that's gonna break because it's going to kind of overwrite everything. So I'm going to need to start from the back, but I can do that in Python. I just need to remind myself how range works, because range is, remember, inclusive of lower but exclusive of upper. So if you do like a range 0, 10, that's this. If I do a list range 10, 0, close bracket, I knew I needed to close bracket. Okay, that's because I need to do 10, 0, -1, right? In decrement and bracket as well. So this one, right, will start at 10 but end at 1, which is good, right? So I want to end at 1 because the last operation I'm going to do is read the 0 and write it to the 1, and then I'm going to write a -1 to the 0. But I can't start at 10 because, if I end the last element in a list of 10 elements is at 9. So you notice that this actually is get more. No, this doesn't have more. I'm lying, but I just need to start. Yeah. So, where am I? Here. So, for count in range, it's the length of, well, it's the opposite of this, like the right length of targets -1 to 0 in steps of -1. And for each of those, we are going to set that targets at count. Yeah, the target at count. I'm confused now. Okay, I want to iterate over this from the back. So this one will become what the one before used to be. Yeah, so I'm going to do manual -1. So the target at count becomes equal to target at count -1. As simple as that. Targets plural. Targets plural. This will delete the last element. If I had one, it will be overwritten by the one before the last one. I've not changed. I don't really need to do like the pop and append. All I need to do is then targets 0 is equal to -1. Have a look at how targets is initially populated, which at the right, -1s are the blank space and it stores actual numbers. Okay, so as always, I'm sounding very confident, but let's have a look. Doesn't really matter which kind of game it is. If I say move, whoa. Oh, I forgot to return something. Yeah, that's the problem. You need to return, of course, because I've modified targets and where is it? For real. Unbelievable. Okay, here, of course, once I've done this, I return targets, of course, otherwise I'm in trouble. Run it again. Whatever. Move, this time in lowercase. So that has... Okay, something wrong there. It's like this gets overwritten and then it has... Oh, okay, maybe I was a little bit too clever here. The problem is that we always doing this, meaning that this would have moved them back and then immediately move them forward back with this. So we kind of need to skip this one. So here, instead of an else, I need this to be an elif user input, which hasn't changed. $per to be consistent with what I got above. If it's not equal to move, and then only then do I want to update the target to move them forward, because otherwise they will undo the clever backwards move I literally just did. Okay, right, 45 is in the last one, and I've got 5 blank ones at the front. Well, let's not play with it because I'm short. And death come to us all. All right, 2, 44, 45, right? And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and my score is -2. Splendid. That looks, I mean, is this the actual code plan they have, test plan they've given us? All right, let's do it again from there. Sing from their tune. Training game, 5, 12 minus. I love this one, don't they? Select to move the target. It should say not select to move. You type move, right? So type move, and now we've got this. Yeah, I'm happy about this. Ends with 2 118 instead of 3. This is all working as specified. So the diff for this is compare with selected and collapse this. What have I done? So when reading the user input that I expect to be an expression, I will first check that it's not move after of course having kind of cast or kind of put the input in uppercase before checking it. If it is move, I put -1 to the score, so that with the other -1, we did that right? They don't actually ask you to verify that it's subtracted to. That's why they don't have a case. It allows you to go into that. That's it. Well, whatever. So -1 to the score, bearing in mind this other -1, which will also happen, right? Because I'm not doing any continue or break or whatever, which I could. Let's do the other version in a second, right? Yeah, that's 10 minutes, and then I'll do kind of a chapter, a second video for the extra extension. And then what I do need to do is, rather than the traditional update of targets is now conditioned that, of course, we've not lost the game, right? We don't have a number at the beginning of the list, but also we were not just asked to move the target. And then I have this new move back targets, which does the same thing here. This is iterate, but iterates backwards. So when we iterate backwards, we need to start from the last one. And because the last one, this one is deliberately length target -1, so that because range 0 length target will have the last element be length target -1. So this will end at length target -2, which is the element, the penultimate element, which is the one before the last one. Here, it's length target -1 starting at that, because we want to start from the last one, but end at 0, which, because it's a range, will be excluded, so it's going to end at 1, which is what we want, and we go in steps of -1. And for each of those, it's kind of the opposite of this, in that the one becomes equal to the one before, not the one after. That's why we need to iterate backwards, because if we iterate forwards, we're going to take the first one and just replicate it all the way down. And finally, at the beginning of the list, I put a blank space, which is a -1. That's the base version. Now let's do Berard's version. Right, first thing I don't like is this iteration. That was all very nice in I don't understand how this goes organized. 76, so it's before the displays, is it? Oh, it's before the displays, sure, okay, right, whatever. Right, so in my new move targets to the back, same thing as we did in like question, whichever one it was, 3, I think, maybe, whatever, the question of the refactor question, the regression test that you will never get in the exam. Instead of doing this, let's simply do, so we want to move them back, right? So to move them back, I'm going to add something at the front, which you can't append is at the back. There might be a way of inserting and so on, but there's a neat way of doing this is to say return. So I'm going to pop the last one. And actually, let's straight up put, I mean, I could kind of, okay, fine, let's kind of do it. And targets will become equal to a -1, so a singleton list of one element of -1, to which I concatenate targets itself. Yeah, it's quite a flex, isn't it? Which means that this is just going to be, okay, so we're here, that's my 0, that's my 10 or 4 in that instance, right? But, in screen, right? So we're popping, which is going to be pop the last one. I've messed this up, haven't I? No, we pop the last one, right? Because we moved them all by 1. And then target becomes equal to this blank one, plus concatenated with targets. So they still have a list that's the same length, and it's like I'm throwing gang signs. And we'll return it. All right, so let's just check this first. I can even maybe put just before I return it, gonna put a little breakpoint and debug it. Right, did that? Yeah, I had 36 and 39, and it's about to return this, which has now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blank spaces at the front. Okay, this still works, but furthermore, the way we called it even there, like I wasn't super happy about this. So instead of doing this, let's just leave a classic else in here and make that score -2. And in here, as we did for task 1, I think, of ZigZag, we just put a continue, meaning it's going to skip all of this stuff. Actually, I'm going to put it after the print, so we don't skip the print, right? That's going to look the same whether we use move or not. It's going to skip all of this stuff, including the score of the subtracting from the score, which is when I need to put -2 here. And also is going to skip the bit where we might repopulate the target the traditional way, meaning I don't need to put a clause on the else here as well. And if I test this again, oh, that's because I don't have the debugger in here. I'm just going to run it without debugging. Boom. So it's all working super fine and dandy. Cool, that was task number 6 of the zigzags. Stay tuned for many more. I look forward to this.